Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Math Unlocked with Mrs. Rhodes-Grierson. Today we're looking at a past paper question, January 2026, and we're focused in this video is on the coordinate geometry question. It's number 4 on the past paper. It looks at a straight line L whose equation is 3x plus 2y equals C. That's a letter C. Passes through the points -2, 8. What do they want us to do? Part A, it says show that the value of C is 10. Let's go. All right, so when you have a question, you first read the question, ensure you understand and interpret what the question is saying. To do that, we do it like English. We pick out the main points. What do I know? Based on what is presented to me, what do I know? What do I want to know? How can I connect what I want to know to the known information? So it says show that the value of C is 10. Here the equation, C is a part of this equation. So I know that what I want to know is connected to this known information right here. Let me just highlight. This is what it connects to. So C is a part of that statement. Now we want to know the exact value of C now. And they say we should show that the value of C is 10. So we already know what C should be. But how do I get it to be? Now since C is connected to 3 times y plus 2 times 3 times x plus 2 times y, I'm going to go into this statement that is given here. Why did they tell me this? This is a point. If a point, it means that these are coordinates representing our first one being our x value, the second one being 9. So how does that help me? I know a value of x that corresponds to a value of y, which means that in this equation here, I could do a substitution. 3 times the x value, and in this case, it told us that x was -2, plus 2 times the corresponding y value, and in this case, it is 8, is equal to the C value. Right? So 3 times -2 is -6 plus 2 times 8 is 16. I can simplify this expression. -6 plus 16 means I'm subtracting 6 from a positive 16, which gives me 10. If 10 is equal to C, it means C is equal to 10. Have I shown them what I should? It says show that the value of C is 10. C is 10, so I get my full marks. All right, so we're ready for part B. Part B says to determine the gradient of line L. How is this information, the unknown, connected to the known? We're back here. That's the equation that we were given. Now, if this is a line, its general equation is the form y equals mx plus c. In this form, I will be able to identify the gradient because m represents my gradient. Notice I said in this form. It should be that y is the subject of the statement. If I have a straight line and I have the equation of that straight line, to identify the gradient from the equation, it should be in the form y equals mx plus c. Now, m is the coefficient of x, the number multiplying x, when the equation is in this form. I'm going to connect to the known. This is what we know. Now, if I know that 3x plus 2y is equal to c, that's what I know. I need y to become the subject, so I need to transpose. What does that mean? It means I need to get y by itself. So the whatever is on this side needs to be moved to the other side to get y by itself. I move this first term that is a part of this expression over here, and it leaves me with 2y. 2y is therefore equal to. Please to note that we now know the value of c from part A. So c is 10. C was 10 from part A. I'm going to substitute that in. That's no longer unknown. I'm bringing over the 3x by subtracting it from both sides. So now that will be 10 minus 3x. I noticed that the term with x is at the back, but in this form it has mx to the front. So I could make a quick rearrangement if I choose to say y, that's 2y, is equal to negative 3x plus 10. Please to note when I made that rearrangement here, I didn't move anything across the equal sign. I made a rearrangement of the expression. So the negative goes with the 3x and the positive goes with the 10. Now to conclude, I must move this 2. Make sure that can be seen clearly. I must eliminate this 2 from here by doing the opposite operation as well, which means I must divide, since 2y means to multiply y by 2, and it therefore means that the other 2 terms on this side must be divided as well to maintain balance in an equation. Anything you do to one expression or term must be done to all in order to maintain equality. So what is now my new statement? Y is equal to negative 3x over 2 plus 5. I simplified this part because 10 divided by 2 is 5. What then is my gradient? The entire fraction here is what multiplies x. That's the coefficient of x. So m in this case is negative 3/2. So my gradient can be a whole number, it can be a fraction, it can be positive, or it can be negative. In this case, the gradient is a fraction and it's negative. M is negative 3/2. Notice that I had to, 1, rearrange the equation to make x the subject of make y the subject of the statement before I could identify the m value. Remember that m is the coefficient of x when y is the subject. You do not work with c being an unknown value because the first part of the statement told us the c value. Hence, I could substitute it here. All right, so let's look at part C. Now, part C says that the word line is missing here. The line 3x plus 4y equal 8 intersect line L at T. So if they intersect, they must intersect at a point. So the point is T. So they said find the coordinates of T. Now, what do I know and how does it connect to what I want to know? I know that this line intersects this line at some point T. For them to intersect, what is very important there is for you to understand if two lines are intersecting, it means we're asking you, where do they meet? Or in other words, when are they equal to each other? That is what I'm going to be using to solve the problem. What we're saying is that 3x, which is my first equation, plus 2y equal 10, that's equation 1, and 3x plus 4y equals 8. We want to know when are the two equations equal. That means the value of x and the value of y in both equations should be the same. So at what point will the values of x and the values of y be the same? How do I find that? This becomes a pair of simultaneous equations. And I have multiple options of solving a pair of simultaneous equations. In this method, I'm deciding to use elimination. Why? Because I can already see that these two terms, the terms in x, have the same value. So method of elimination would allow me to just subtract the equations from each other. And once I subtract, because these are the same things, same quantities, if I subtract them, it will eliminate the x term, leaving me only with y. The reason for doing that is that I need to know the value of y or the value of x in order to find the other one. So you cannot solve an equation by itself with two unknown variables in it. So we want to eliminate one of them. So notice I place this in a bracket because I'm going to subtract the entire equation here from the one there, which means that when we subtract, or add, we do like terms. So it's a 3x minus 3x, that's 0. That eliminates my first term. 2y minus 4y, because 4y is bigger than 2y, that's going to give me negative 2y. 10 minus 8, and I'm subtracting my constants now, that gives me 2. Now we go back to what we did in part B, when we're finding an unknown value, we had to have it by itself, which now means that I need to get y by itself by dividing through by this negative 2 that was multiplying y, and we do that to both sides, which gives us, if y should stand alone now, if y should stand alone, y will be equal to 2 divided by negative 2, and that becomes negative 1. So now I know the value of y. Remember that t represented a point. If that's a point, it means that it has both x and y coordinates. And notice it said find the coordinates, which means that if I know y, I need to substitute y in any one of these, because the value in any one will be the same since it's where they intersect. I will now substitute y into one of those equations to find x. So we know that y is negative 1. So I'm taking equation 1. I know that 3x plus 2y is equal to 10. I know y, so I'm going to substitute that value in. I know what the value of y is, so I'm substituting it in. So I'm saying 3x plus 2 times negative 1 is equal to 10. We're almost there. Now 3x minus 2 is equal to 10, because when we multiply a positive by a negative, we'll get a negative. Hope you're keeping up. We're now going to make x the subject again. See how important it is for you to make any variable the subject of a statement, anyone. So we're going to eliminate this by adding. We're doing the opposite operation to both sides. So now I have 3x is equal to 12 because I added 2 to 10. Eliminating the 3 means I will divide on both sides. So now I can conclude that x is equal to 4. So the point T would have coordinates. X comes first at all times. X comes first when you're writing a coordinate. So that will be negative 4. Sorry, positive 4 and negative 1. That would represent the coordinates of T. I hope that this video would have helped. Come back for so much more of us doing CXC past paper questions or just generalized math concepts and ideas that you have challenges with. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share my videos for many more to come.